This is a PI Advice Podcast.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, yeah. What's going on, guys? Man, it's been a busy week for me, and that's why I'm really slacking on the podcasts. But I hope you guys forgive me. Wish I could do this full time, but that's just not going to happen anytime soon. Yeah, so, there's more sunlight coming out, and, in the state of Washington, sunlight is a rarity. I know California's been probably getting too much sunlight, and the rest of the nation's probably had more, rainy, snowy weather than usual. But yeah, glad to be on the microphone and chatting you guys up a little bit. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you guys about some translation apps for both iPhones and the Android phone system. And before I get into that, I want to tell you guys a story. It's kind of a pretexting story, but when I got to thinking about, well, first, we talked about, I think it was last week, we talked about the application on Google where you can, translate things online. You find something online, you can translate it and figure out what they're saying in whatever language. And then I got a response, and I can't remember the gentleman's name or the viewer's name. It was on a YouTube video. At least I'm pretty sure. And it was on a YouTube video. And they said, basically, they go, hey, don't forget about, Google Apps or the apps on the, on your smartphones. They have translation apps. And then he said, Google has a translation app. And I'm like, I should have known that, but I didn't. And I thank him for bringing that to my attention. So yeah, I checked it out. I got it on my phone here, my Android phone, my Google phone. And it's probably the best out of all of them that I've kind of skimmed over and checked out their abilities. But, back in the day, we didn't have, and when I say back in the day, I'm talking about 8 years ago, maybe 9. We didn't have the technology we do now. So I think MySpace was like brand new, and which was great. Google was I want to say it was up and coming still, but it was like still everybody was going to it. Everybody was starting to say, have you Googled it? Pretty sure that's about the same time. I think I was using Yahoo. I don't think Bing was around. I don't know. I was using Yahoo and I was using Google at the time. So 8 years ago, and not a whole lot of information was out there, compared to now, obviously. And so most of my, if I got information about a subject or a claimant or something, it was just all about your pretexting abilities. It was about your investigative skills and more or less pretexting abilities. That's where you really got your information. At least I did. And so, it was hard though. The things I had to do pretexting, I won't do now, but it was a great learning experience. But this app kind of jogged my memory a little bit in regards to the difficulties in pretexting getting information, and how when we get into the apps, how that can basically revolutionize the way you do things on your pretexting. But so I remember, and it's kind of hazy, the memory, but I remember how I'm still traumatized by a certain part of this story. So I remember I had to go knock on, I think it was the claimant's door. And I was either it was a claimant or it was a neighbor, but either way, there was a language barrier. And I remember, I think it was the woman answered the door, and they spoke Spanish. I know they spoke Spanish. I saw Spanish people come out earlier that day, and so I'm trying to talk to them, and I swear to goodness, they didn't understand what I was saying. At least that's what I thought at first, right? So I'm talking to them and I'm like, I'm giving this pretext, and then I'm just dumbing it down like, whatever. I was like, car. And the man that's at the door at the time is just going, I don't know what he's saying. He's saying it in I could have swear it's Spanish. He's looking at his wife going, I don't know, whatever. And then the wife was saying something back to him. And he was, to me, he was playing dumb. I mean, at least that's what I started to figure out. But at the time, I figured out he was playing dumb later. But at the time, I'm like just stressing out, like, come on, dude. I mean, you don't know any English. You don't know anything I'm saying, like nothing. And so I remember, we had a pretty killer team at the company I was working for at the time. So I called my boss and I said, boss, I stepped away from the door and I said, boss, they speak Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, boss. And so he got a Spanish manager on the phone, and I put my we had Motorola push to talk phones and stuff like that. And I put him on the phone and I put the phone up to him and the Spanish speaking investigator in Florida starts talking. And this guy's still going, I don't know what he's saying. I'm like, oh, this is bull crap. I know you speak Spanish. He's speaking Spanish. Why don't you speak back? And he won't say anything. So I basically got back on the phone. I'm like, forget it. I don't know what else to do. They're not responding to what you're saying in Spanish. And I don't know what else to do. And anyways, so I think, I don't know. I was like, well, yeah, whatever. Thank you for your time. And, they're probably laughing at me as they walk back in the house going, that stupid guy. And so I was basically traumatized. I sat there and I got my boss on the phone. I mean, I literally was having him pretext for me in Spanish on my phone, and it still didn't work. I think they were, whatever. I think they were messing with me, but what do I know? So anyways, now that, so, we fast forward to now and we've got these smartphones and they're, a computer in your hand. And you can, they have capabilities. They have these capabilities, that are useful to a private investigator in the field. And not always. Again, one of those tools you never know when you might need. So anyways, this gentleman that helped me on my video, he's like, no, they got this app. Google has an app. So they have these translation apps. So I checked out 3 of them. Actually, I checked out more than that, but only 3 of them were worth talking about here. So the first one I want to talk about is iTranslate. And iTranslate's pretty easy to navigate. Let's see here. They have this is a company named Sonico Mobile makes it for one of them, whether it's the Android or the iPhone. I don't have my iPhone in here now. I couldn't download the iPhone version because it required, I think it required a 7.0 update, and I haven't updated my phone in a long time. But for those of you who have iPhones that are all updated and everything, it shouldn't be a problem. So, but basically, it's a very simple app, and I'll have it on the screen here. I'll try to make it look fancy. You press the microphone button. It lets you talk into the phone. You say what you want to say in English. It'll translate it to Spanish, and so I'll say, "Hello, how you doing?" And then it'll come up in Spanish. And what the great thing is not only is it coming up in the spelling in Spanish, but you can just press the microphone here. Remember, I said, "Hello, how are you doing?" And it'll come into the microphone here. It goes, "Hola, ¿cómo estás?" So there you go. Hola, ¿cómo estás? There you go. Hola, ¿cómo estás? It says. So that's hello, how you doing in Spanish. And so imagine if I had this app or any translation app at the time, and I was, oh yeah, you don't speak English? Oh yeah, how about read it then or something? I'll get them. And that's you don't speak Spanish? Fine, I'll switch languages. And this also gives you, I don't know what to say here. It gives you a ton of them. I don't remember how many. I mean, I'm just for example, Spanish, Swahili, Swedish, Thai, Ukrainian. Here, we'll talk Ukrainian here. Let's do this. Oh, hello, how are you doing? I'll say. And then it'll go, this one won't do Ukrainian in voice. Well, that's okay. But it'll spell it out. So that's I guess they don't do them all. This isn't that fancy. So that's one of the apps. It's called iTranslate. It's free, and I think they have an updated version, but you'll have to look at ads on this one. The other one, let's see, was Speak and Translate. It's got a good app on the iPhone. speaks 40 languages for you. I don't have them all for you. Will write conversations in 72 languages. So, like this one I just showed you, I was trying to have it say something in, a different language that wasn't Spanish. It didn't have the voice for it, but it would have the translation in writing. You could show somebody in your phone what the translation was, and that'll work for you. So, speak and translate. Actually, like that one. It had a good rating. Definitely worth checking out. Now, the last one is Google Translate, the one that was recommended to me, and undoubtedly, in my opinion, is probably the best app to use, and I'll give you a few reasons why. First of all, it does like the last one does. It'll translate from one language to another. So I'm going to do it now here. I'm going to say, Private Investigator advice is the best. And all it heard was is the best. So if I want to hear what, I could just press the letters here. Es la mejor means is the best in Spanish. And let's see here. If I say something in Spanish, it'll translate to English. So I'm going to say, I said a bunch of stuff here. In English, I said face sword shop is super sahia. And, I don't know, whatever. I'm messing this up. So that's one thing. It does the regular thing. It translates from, back and forth. It could do Spanish to something else or whatever. The other thing that was neat that it does is it does the text, right? That we talked about. But the most interesting thing I thought it did was you can take a picture of something with words, and so let's say you saw a sign, or you saw, maybe it was a menu. You could take a picture of that, and then the app will let you highlight the words in the picture that you want to translate. And so you take your finger and you mark the words that you want to translate, and it'll translate it for you. What? Yep, I know. And, I'll try to do a review of this or something. But just, go to your Android, iPhone, download Google Translate and play with it. It just, I reference this all to Private Investigator stuff. But of course, if you travel to other countries and you don't know, you don't know the language, what a great way to, be able to kind of navigate your way around, a different country or a different area. You can go to Chinatown, have no problem, translating to Chinese, or, wherever you are. So very, very interesting. Like I said, if I had this app way back when, I wouldn't have had all the trouble that I did that one day. Hopefully, if I happened to be wrong and that man that was looking at me like I was dumb didn't actually speak Spanish, I could probably go through a list of some other languages and try those and see if he understood what we were saying. But I'll never forget that to that day. I mean, for me to remember that one particular pretext, just because the whole discussion of translations came up. Yeah, it was traumatizing. So, anyways, guys, I think that's going to be it for today. I've got some stuff for next week. I don't want to give it all to you today. This is just a little quick one for you to check out. Check out the different ones. I think you personally like the Google Translate better. I think it just basically messes, better than all of them. But if I had to give a ranking, I would give Google Translate number 1, Speak and Translate rank number 2, and iTranslate number 3. That would be your top 3. They're all free, so you don't have to worry about that. You're not spending any money. And there are some other ones that cost a buck or two that are in the iPhone, the categories. I wouldn't even waste your money when you got something that does so much for free. So that'll do it for, what is it? It would have been April 22nd if I would have recorded on the 22nd. April 22nd, 2014. This is Tech Tuesday. And, I'm just really glad you guys tuned in. And I swear to goodness, I will have another podcast this week for you guys to listen to. I have a couple days available. So,
This is a PI Advice Podcast.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Well, thank you again. I will have something better for you next time. Maybe we'll do some news. I do have some cool things, and I some of this stuff I won't be able to vet, but at least you can check it out yourself. And that's going to be next Tuesday, and we'll have some different conversations in between there. Okay? All right, guys. Talk to you later.